Hello and welcome back. My name is Vlad, and in today's Sunday sample video I have another sample from the Dava Way independent bottler, and in this case we have DAILUAINE 13 years old single malt whiskey from EX COGNAC BUTT. Sounds tasty, doesn't it? Today's whiskey is a second whiskey from the Dava Way independent bottler, and I can tell you there's gonna be two more samples in the next 2 Sundays, so you can prepare for more Dava Way whiskies. Today we have the DAILUAINE 13 years old whiskey from the single EX COGNAC BUTT, which sounds perfect. Of course, this whiskey has been bottled at 50% of ABV in this case, unchill filtered, no color added, and we have 510 bottles available on the market from this butt. Of course, this 50% of ABV, this is not a cask strength whiskey. This whiskey has been diluted, but just slightly. Around 2 to 3% of the water has been added to this whiskey. That's what I've been told, but Matt McKee, the gentleman who is behind this project, the Dava Way, and he gave me some few information about this whiskey, of course, and I'm not sure this is the first fill EX Cognac or the second fill EX Cognac, but I'm pretty sure this was a first fill EX Cognac casks, but we're gonna talk about this later on. So DAILUAINE Distillery is a very unpopular distillery because this distillery has been owned by the Diageo, the very big company, and most of the whiskey from this distillery is blended fillers, so actually this whiskey going to the blends. If I'm right, it's only one official bottling from DAILUAINE Distillery, and this is 16 years old DAILUAINE, which is the part of the Flora and Fauna series, and the rest of the whiskey from this distillery we can find among the independent bottlers, as we have today's on the table. This distillery is quite interesting distillery, to be honest, because history shows that the DAILUAINE Distillery on the end of the 19th century, there was the biggest producer of single malt whiskey in the Speyside, which I didn't know, to be honest, until I was prepared this video. And also DAILUAINE Distillery was the first distillery in Scotland where the pagoda roof has been installed. So actually the DAILUAINE was the first distillery which has used the pagoda roofs, and this is quite interesting story behind it. And the gentleman who was a inventor and installer of that pagoda roof in the DAILUAINE Distillery was the Charles Doig. So quite interesting facts, history facts. I don't wanna dip more in the history. I would like to focus on the whiskey itself. So let's have a nose it and taste it, and we'll see, is it any good? Let's have a nose. Aroma is very nice, slightly sweet, some barley sweetness, some malt sweetness, and in aroma you can find that kind of heavy notes, like meaty notes, like very oily notes, and this is the part of the new make spirit, because the spirit itself from the DAILUAINE Distillery is quite meaty, quite heavy, and actually you can smell that meatiness, that heaviness in this whiskey. This is quite heavy, and some aromas reminds me of freshly baked pastry. It's quite doughy, quite sugary, I would say, and quite buttery. Just behind this beautiful and nice aromas, we can find loads of fruitiness, like canned peaches, like overripe pears, like overripe red apples. There is some notes of the cheesecake, lemon cheesecake, freshly baked rye bread, some aromas reminds me the forest after the rainy day, when you're going to have a walk in the forest just after the rain. You can smell that wet, slightly damp autumn leaves, wet autumn leaves. The aroma is nice, complex, slightly sweet, very nice, very beautiful, to be honest. Let's dive into the whiskey. Initially, this whiskey brings slightly sweetness, that oiliness, that meatiness, followed by loads of fruitiness, explosion of the fruitiness, that peach, that apricot, this lovely notes of overripe apples, overripe pears, followed by slightly cinnamony notes. Slightly grassy notes, like wet grass, that wet autumn leaves. When swallowed, gentle spiciness coming up. European oak, definitely. You can feel this on the tongue, in the taste. And then quite fresh notes coming up, like lemongrass, slightly citrusy notes, maybe like orange peel, I would say, with that beautiful fruitiness of the peaches, apricots, pears, apples, and then it turning to be more, maybe not dry, but there is some woodiness coming up, there is some oakiness coming up, and then you can find some more that cognac influence, where you've got that slightly raisin notes, some raisins, some chocolate, dark chocolate, slightly coffee maybe notes coming up. Whiskey is very nice, balanced, it's very nice, integrated. As I said, nice balance, lovely integrated, all that aspects beautifully work together. Some nutty aspects coming up. Definitely in this whiskey you can taste beautiful balance between the spirit itself and the cask influence. And as I mentioned on the beginning, I think this is the first fill ex cognac cask, ex cognac butt actually, because there is a loads of cognac influence in this whiskey, but still you can find that beautiful distillery character combined perfectly, in my opinion, with the cask, which is very, very good in this case. Quite similar as the last edition from the Dava Way and Orkney Highland Park whiskey. But if I need to be honest with you, I think I like this better than the Highland Park. This whiskey is more interesting to me personally. The finish on this one is very nice, medium long, but on the finish there is more that cognac aspects. So there is more that chocolatey, coffee, raisins, I would say, with the touch of the wood, which I can find quite often in the good quality cognacs. And with that fruitiness still on the tongue, with that peaches, apricots, and that apples and the pears and all that cinnamony aspects, they still lingering on the tongue with that beautifully combined ex cognac cask here. In my opinion, very nice whiskey, worth to try, definitely worth to buy. If I remember right, the price is £59 for this bottle, so definitely worth to try and worth to buy. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Just leave me the comments down below if you ever try any whiskies from the Dava Way independent bottler. I'm very curious about your opinion. And dear friends, just remember one thing, as always, take care about yourselves, about your families, drink your whiskies, enjoy your life, and see you soon. Bye.